I think that parodies of things can be really funny. I mean, once upon a time, there were parodies of every other song, and people were making their own songs that others found funny. Obviously don't land like the others in the sense that they're just not funny. Everyone's got their own opinions, but here's mine because this was an agonizing watch. Before I get into the movie itself, I want to talk about the reviews. On IMDb, it is rated a 3.2 out of 10, and honestly, the reviews are really mixed. One review says, "This movie is bad. Its unfunny and cringeworthy jokes and lack of wit make it a disaster." Another says, "I rate films on how well I enjoy them, and not on their quality. There were scenes which admittedly had me rolling on the floor laughing. The film does not only satire the Hunger Games, but also satires other films as well as modern society, an aspect which I liked." But if you choose to watch this video, don't base your opinion on it based on things that I say or that other people say. Maybe someone watching this video finds this movie hilarious, and that's alright.
Turkey sandwich.
Getting to the movie now. This movie is very obviously a spin-off of The Hunger Games. There are some obvious differences like characters, names, plot points, but we'll get to that as we go along. Starting from the beginning, we open with the scene of our main character, Can't Miss Evershot. I know, the entire movie is just as corny as her name is, I promise. Dale, her partner, or at least who I assume her partner is, shows up, scares the crap out of her. They talk and he gives her food, and cue unnecessary and really gross scene number 1. There are so many scenes in this movie that follow the same unexpected and shocking situation out of nowhere format. I mean, not even 2 minutes after what I just showed you, there's another scene that is very similar. I know this is a Hunger Games parody, and if you know anything at all about Hunger Games, you know that it's very violent. However, it's basically the entire movie. Look at this person get knocked out. Look at this thing get thrown at this person. I feel like it's really overdone, and there aren't many other jokes other than, haha, this person gets hurt. That's so funny. This person gets hurt. Skipping forward a bit, the Starving Games are being announced by this incredibly stylish woman. In fact, I think she's one of the only good parts of this movie. Fashion inspo, I guess. She goes on to show the video on the games starring none other than President Snowballs. I did say this entire movie was corny. Don't say I didn't warn you. She's pulling the names for the container lottery style, and we get some hilarious, fantastic, wonderful, awesome names that they totally didn't get a 12-year-old boy to write down. Anyway, after the prolonged joke name bit is over, someone real is actually chosen, and it's Can't Miss's sister, Petunia. And Can't Miss celebrates because, yay, it's not her! Yes, it's not me! She does trade places with her sister because of her adorable, magical puppy dog eyes. And she ends up in the games because, well, of course she does. And the male partner from her district is also introduced, and his name, Peter Malarkey. I'm at a loss right now. These names have been driving me insane since I watched the movie. Anyway, Peter is up on the platform with Can't Miss now, and he starts talking to her, telling her things like, "Wow, I like you," and "Don't you remember me?" In the past, I guess he gave her a loaf of, like, walnut bread. I actually don't remember what the food was. And she pulls out a large printed image of her allergic reaction to the food that he gave her, which... I know this movie's a joke. I know this movie is supposed to be tee-hee-ha-ha funny, but oh my god. First of all, that looks nasty as hell. Second of all, why do you just have that on your person? Maybe this movie has its funny moments. Maybe I'm just an evil hater. I don't know. There is then a section hosted by a guy with the worst wig I have ever seen. Oh my god, it's blinding. He's interviewing all the game participants to this big audience of really interestingly dressed people. Because, I left this out originally, but, the president and vice president are Lady Gaga and Nicki Minaj. so they all dress like that. He's interviewing all the game participants before they go into the games because it's a messed up little world and he wants to get people attached to them before they, you know. Katniss is given this beautiful dress and, oh, what's that?
Wow, I'm getting word that flames actually ignite from the dress.
Flames?
I get it! I get it! Oh my god! Oh my god, I get it! 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 It's like the book! Also, I'm not sure where I could have possibly included the existence of this guy in the video, so I'm doing it here. There is a character who straight up uses his facial hair as advertising space, and it changes with every scene that he shows up in. I think that was important to share because he comes up a bunch later on. Now we're going into the games themselves. Everyone is taken to the location that the games take place in, and of course, just like in The Hunger Games, it's being broadcasted. During the games, Katniss ends up in a tree and gets stung by bees, which make her hallucinate about rainbows and being an avatar.
Rainbow! Oh my god! I'm not keeping my soul.
Wish I was joking. This scene, of course, births my favorite line in this entire movie.
Shit ain't personal, strictly business.
Hey, it's editing me here. I forgot to mention that this little girl is slapping her out of her weird hallucination trance that she's in. I just completely left that out, so this looks really weird out of context. Sorry. This girl and Katniss team up. For a short while, at least until she, unfortunately, you know.
Rudy. Sing me a lullaby.
La, 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 la.
Not you. Her.
Please shut your eyes. Your life is fading out.
Also, Taylor Swift is there while this is happening. I really want to know where they came up with the ideas for this movie. I know that they were like, let's make a Hunger Games parody, but like in the planning stage of the movie, when did they decide to put in Taylor Swift? I don't know. I shouldn't be asking questions considering the nature of this movie. So, whatever, actually. Anyway, let's go back to Mr. President Snowballs and that assistant for a second. Let's discuss this for a second.
But the show's missing one important thing. What does every successful show need to bring it to the next level?
I know exactly what you mean. A
lesbian love story.
Wait, lesbian love story?
Who doesn't like to see two chicks get it on? I know I do. Big time.
That's gross. I'm sorry to the lesbians out there that had to hear that sentence be uttered from his mouth. That's gross, and I think that talking about people like that is not okay. I'm keeping this in mind the entire time that this was more than 10 years ago, and humor has drastically changed since 2013, but I just can't shake the feeling. I think it's nasty. I can't imagine a universe where this is funny. Sorry, it feels weird. It made me cringe. Good for those who laughed, but maybe I'm that one friend who's too woke. I don't know. I'm not sure. We're moving on now. Katniss and Peter were split up. Not sure if I said it before, but they were split, and she finally finds him again. Sort of. Peter is super injured, so the two of them find a cave to hide out in so she can tend to his wounds. And in this cave, Peter decides to admit all the creepy, fucked up shit he's done regarding Katniss.
I've had a crush on you for the longest time. I used to follow you home from school every day. Every day. And I remember when you got your first dress-up dolly on your 8th birthday. And when you turned 12 and got your first period.
Hey, what the hell? Peter, you don't just say that to someone. And then, because what would this movie be without it? I mean, it was clearly written by 12-year-olds. They get kind of freaky. But Katniss is hesitant, and he convinces her by saying, "Oh, I'm dying."
I don't know if I can do this.
Oh, my back. I'm dying. don't know how much longer I can hang on.
I mean, I guess technically it's for plot purposes, if you can even call it that. I mean, they were sending messages like, hey, get freaky and we'll send you medicine. We're all watching. But still, they were getting into it. Your boyfriend is watching. Obviously, he's pissed because he just had to watch her get her freak on with another dude. Also, Gandalf is there for some reason. We're at the final stretch of the movie. Dale's pissed, so he goes into the arena himself, and in the meantime, a bunch more iconic characters show up. Right as they attempt to take the remaining 3 survivors out, they actually get taken down by none other than Dale himself, and he talks to Can't angry as hell.
Fine, but I'm changing my Facebook status to single.
Which, reasonably so. I'd be mad too. Can't once again living up to her name, takes out Dale with a piece of bread. I'm not going to show the scene because in my opinion it's very flashy and very lots of colors and scene changes that I'd rather not have up on this screen for safety reasons. No matter, she hits him with a piece of bread and it lands right in the eye. That completely takes him out and he's completely unconscious now. Somehow. Peter and her celebrate, or at least until Mr. Advertisements on My Face guy shows back up to say, hey, so there can only be one winner. Peter, upon hearing this information, goes on a brief rant like, what if we don't give him the satisfaction? What if we just ourselves? To which Can't responds by taking him out too. And she wins. You thought we were done. You thought we were finished. We're actually not finished. The Avengers are here too.
Nice shot, can't miss.
What are you doing here?
Practically show up at the end of every movie.
Superhero movies. Yeah, but...
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. We could use some fresh young blood. I mean, shit. Just how many sequels to Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America can we make, right?
We're done now. This movie is genuinely all over the place. I couldn't even stay in one spot while I was watching, and it took me from like 7 a.m. to almost 3 p.m. to get through the entire thing. Partially because I didn't have Prime Video, so I had to sit through 5 ads every 15 minutes, but mainly because this probably takes the first place award for worst movie I've ever laid my poor eyes on. I then had to watch the movie a second time so I could get all the clips for the video, so it's going to be temporarily burned into my brain like a phone screen with the brightness up too often. In other words, thank you for all the overwhelming support. Hitting 200 subscribers in 1 week is not something I thought possible, considering I started at absolute 0. Thank you all so much. I'm glad you think I'm funny. That's actually all now. Again, thank you all. Okay.